Do you want to be known as the damage dealer or DPS with the most massive EP known to World of Warcraft community? Well, my friend, there are some unreachable heights there, but hey, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't try, right? This is my second video in EP boosting series, with one for the tanks being already out on my channel, so today we'll talk about how to become the most loved and adored DPS there is. Have a seat, grab a pen and paper to take notes, and let's get started. Point number one, and it's very, very important. Pull stuff. Don't wait for tank to do it. Remember, you always as a DPS know better than the tank what to pull and when and in what amounts. And it doesn't matter, as the tank will pick all of that mess up and you'll probably survive, and if some squishes die from AoE or mobs casting silence or stun on the group, oops, big deal. Maybe nobody noticed, right? Point number two is a related point, because pulling instead of the tank is so important. Never ever use misdirect if you have such an ability when you pull or burst the boss, because why? Tank has taunt, right? So if you have aggro, it's their job to get the mobs off you and for the healer to make sure you don't die. Otherwise, look, there is always a fallback of where you can start complaining in the group chat. Blizzard has you covered. Relax. Point number three, always, and I mean always, run ahead and don't particularly look if you pull extra mobs, especially if you didn't mean to. Remember how you used that as an excuse to your mom and all the siblings when you were 6-year-old? Remember that? Well, it wasn't that long ago, just last year for you, right? So use it again. You didn't mean to pull all that extra trash, so why is everyone mad, especially if it's in higher Mythic Plus keys? Pfft, all they need is just to chill, you know, like what happened? Nothing, absolutely nothing, you're good. Point number four. Never ever interrupt any spells. Don't kick, don't pummel, don't skull bash, don't counterspell. Just remove all that rubble from your action bars and focus on stabby, pew pew. After all, that's what you're there to do. So everyone just needs to shut up and check their expectations. Yep. Point number five. Always, and I mean always, attack the target other than the one that your tank is focused on. Of course, there are some exceptions when attacking the same target might be required, such as when the tank, let's say, got enough aggro on some loose mobs, lots of trash mobs that follow them half dead as they, as the tank continues running ahead, and let's say tank pulled some new, fresh, beefy mob. That's when you don't need to attack those loose mobs, yeah? You don't need to attack them to finish them off quickly. No. Your tank likes that long tail of entourage basically following them. So why spoil this party? Why? Why spoil the party? Go straight stabby on that big fat mob in the front and leave the loose, annoying trash for your healer to deal with. They have some damaging spells too, so why don't they use them, right? Point number six. This one is very obvious, but also very important. So I have to point it out. Go offline or AFK, just AFK, as soon as you get into the dungeon. Especially if it's Mythic Plus and the timer has started. Because who cares, right? They probably won't kick you as they are worried that they won't make the time and you might come back, idiots, right? I think that you'll finish your poo that quickly. Joke's on them, right? So just go AFK or simply be chill about it. After all, you got into the group after your horribly undeserved 2-hour queue. And now it's time to smoke a ciggy, have a drink, go put a load of washing on and all of that kind of stuff. It's rather obvious. I'm sorry I had to point it out, as many DPS just don't get it. I've seen far too many who don't get it lately. Point number 7. Start changing your spec and messing with your action bars as soon as you get into the dungeon group. Not before. That's such a lame thing to do if you do it before. What are you, a noob to prepare in any way? Like, who expects people to join a group and be ready to go? Pfft, that's just completely ridiculous, and they all need to honestly check their expectations. Just get into the group and then sit down straight away, start changing your specs slowly and all that. Relax, mate, you're among friends who have known you for the whole, 15 nanoseconds, they'll absolutely wait for their old body and not get annoyed in any way. Point number 8, another very obvious, and look, it's not absolutely required point, let me emphasize that for you, but it's here because it will boost your EPN rating among DPS and performance as well. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Ready for it? You need to roll a hunter. Yeah, that's it. Just roll a hunter, and if you're not a hunter, it sucks to be you. Go re-roll right now, as the size of your EPN will never be as massive, statistically, as that of hunters. I'm sorry, representatives of any other class who just started like crying there in the corner, there, I am sorry. But it's mature content you're watching here, and what do you expect me to pull punches now? It's not gonna happen. Go re-roll a hunter and then come back, I'll wait. Point number 9, now this is even more, like if you thought I couldn't get to even more serious point, I'm about to. Only the like really small EPN DPS don't know this point, so you'd better pay attention, mate. You always, and I mean always, know better how to tank stuff than your tank does. Let it sink in. Other than some exceptions where the tank is a real noob who humbly and pathetically asked for your guidance through the unknown content, where a weaker and smaller EPN DPS might have fallen for that trap and given them a hand by explaining stuff, pulling things here and there for them, using misdirect. No. We are not going to do any of that because that is pathetic, isn't it? Just maintain the position that you know better, pull bosses ahead of the tank, tail them off if they're a bit slower than you would like them to be. Remember the good old days when, you know, when you might have played a tank in the past. Forget that here and now your job is to shut up and DPS things as quickly as you can. And just tell people off, yeah? Find a creative way to show your attitude by jumping around, pulling extra mobs maybe even. We've mentioned that already, but it's just such a great point that I can easily say it again without any hesitation. And if your tank gets the shits and wants to leave, tell them and the whole group that the tank sucked and you're about to show them what you can do if you're dual spec, of course, if you have a tanking spec as well. Or just keep complaining and keep telling them stories about your long gone past if you don't. It is a very, very positive and productive way to play a DPS class in World of Warcraft, and everyone, and I mean absolutely everyone, is going to be very, very, very impressed with you. Finally, point number 10, don't worry about getting out of bad. And I mean, like, stand in the fire, stand in green poisonous clouds, you name it. First of all, it shows your toughness, yeah? Because you're a DPS, but you're very, very, very tough, mate. You're very tough. And secondly, it's your healer's job to heal your ass. And there, you know, you can look just pretty standing there in this nice green glow with all these fires like around you, right? And they will just heal you. It especially like all this kind of awesomeness applies to you if your DPS is genuinely relatively high. If it's high, oh boy, then all bets are off. Like all of this, you know, applies to you. But if your DPS is high, you're practically God. It would be even better, like the only thing that can make it better, if you tell the others about it. If they even dare telling you to get out of bed or stop doing stupid stuff like pulling the extra mobs, they might have thought that it was annoying or whatever, like who cares, right? If your DPS is high, you are an absolute king, right? And they need to know about it. Look, as there are just so many amazing tips that I can give you, I can keep giving you, you know, as a relatively new DPS who wants to increase the size of their EPN and be loved by absolutely everyone. It's very, very hard for me right now to draw, well, a much needed line here and cut it off at number 10. If you have more amazing EPN boosting tips to share, please don't stop yourself and don't be shy and share your wisdom in the comments below the video. And don't forget to watch my other EPN boosting guides on the channel. At the moment, like I said earlier, I already have published a tank EPN boosting guide. Yeah, I plan to publish a healer EPN boosting guide soon enough. And those videos deserve your input and attention as much as this guide did, especially if you liked it. So I thank you in advance for contributing. Like the video so that more people can see your wisdom. in the comments below. And all the amazing and highly useful insights propagate through the WoW community of newbies who might have joined the game recently with Dragonflight launch. Please subscribe for more if you haven't already and if you don't want to miss any future videos from me. And I very much thank you for watching. Talk to you next time, and bye for now.